One of the things that I've always been touched by is this other project you guys called Ozo Kids. Tell me about that whole project and how it began. What, how did it come about?
Um, that's an interesting. So we at that time we started. We were touring a lot at that time, and I remember us being in Chicago and doing 2 nights at the House of Blues, Chicago, and one night I think we did a Thursday and a Friday, and you know a year earlier we played 2 nights at the House of Blues Chicago, no problem. And then a year later or 2 years later, whatever it was, we went back and the Thursday show was not selling at all. And so we asked the promoter, can we just paper the event and give out tickets? Friday was doing well, but Thursday wasn't. And so I went on like I think, I don't know, maybe it was MySpace at that time, who knows, or Facebook. And we just said, free tickets, who wants to come? And everybody was like, I can't get a babysitter. I can't get a babysitter. And our drummer at the time, Mario Caleri, was like, you guys should do an Ozo Kids album. You guys should do a kids album, and kind of like kept saying it. And yeah, and so we did. So we did it. We're like, oh, that could be a good idea. And actually after that point, we got commissioned by PBS to write. They commissioned us to write 5 1-minute songs. This just happened by chance. They commissioned us to write 5 songs, like specific, like one about opposable thumbs. I don't remember them all. There was a bunch of them. Math, spelling, and then they put those to videos. And then we ended up doing 10 of them, because the 5 we did, they liked so much that they just kept, oh, do another one. So we did 10 of those songs, and you can see those. If you type in like PBS Ozomatli, like, and I'll find them and send them to you. And so we did that, and that was a good, I think, like a class for us in doing kids music, because we were working with PBS and they were like, oh, change this word, it needs to be more whatever, kid friendly. And so by the end of those 10 songs, we felt like we had a grasp. People think kids music is easy. It's not. It's just as, especially performing for kids. I mean, we play a 30-minute show for kids, and it takes everything out of you. We do an hour-and-a-half show with Ozomatli, but Ozo Kids is like 30 minutes, and you have to give it your all.
It's a sunny day. Why are you bored? Follow me for a quick trip to the store. Get some change from Dad, $2 at most. Buy some balloons, add some friends, now you're the host. Roll them up and toss them around. Get some colored markers, draw a face or a crown. Roll them up, watch them fly into the air. Where do they land?
Raul's laughing. Tell us about that, Raul.
I think the experience I had in that was cool is because in the beginning I was kind of like, oh, I don't really want to do that, but it became more and more enjoyable to me. And I think one of the things I noticed for all of us is, as songwriters, is actually putting yourself in a place where you didn't have to necessarily be the band, quote unquote.
Mm.
So you could talk about, like on the Ozo Kids records, we had a song going about to the movie, skateboarding, balloons, all these, and it seems silly, but you do need to be clever, and you do need to kind of like get into a different headspace. So I think as songwriters, it was actually helpful for us. And then in terms of the shows, what we do sometimes is we might do an early show for the kids and then like an adult show at night. And so it's become a thing that if we can, we do it. I remember the first time, and we've done it many times at the Fillmore in San Francisco, and the kid shows are sold out. So you have this iconic theater, this venue, and there's all these kids going crazy, and they're very appreciative parents, because I think that was the point in the beginning, wanting to have this kind of shared experience for the kids. And I think we see it also as an introduction to music because a lot of these kids have never seen a band. We talk about our instruments, we have some kind of sharing elements to it, and that becomes, you can see like kids like really, really light up and be tripped out by like a surdo drum, like right in front of them, getting able to play it, touching our guitar, touching the horn, like just, so that impression I think is actually really important. So I've seen that as something that's really meaningful for young people, and it's become meaningful because of that for me.
It's interesting. You said at the beginning that
Yeah.
you didn't want to do that. This is before you had kids.
No, I think I
Now,
already.
now most of
I
you
just
guys
think.
have kids, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think almost most people do, not everybody, but um, I just think. I think at that time I was just thinking, no, I want to be like I want to be in this band, not a kids band. But it ended up, like I said, there were elements of it that were informative and learning, and it's become important because of the reactions I see in young people.
Yeah, and just to take a little bit on of what Will just said, that it seemed more challenging to do a 30-minute show than an hour and a half show because of the focus, because of that
Yeah.
focus that you have to make sure that you use the right language, that you don't mess around, that you are really
Yeah.
talking to them as opposed to just like whatever.
And there's no breaks. There's no breaks. You have to keep the show moving. Like you
Yeah.
have to,
Yeah.
or else
They
or else
get
the kids
bored.
take over.